What good YouTube, and welcome to the house. The ban list has slammed the market, when doesn't it? I guess when we only have like 3 changes on the FNL list, but what could easily be called Sky Striker Watch today, and there's a ton of other things happening. We see every single freaking card moving, but this is a first where we actually get the price sales history of what's happening with the ban list, and I'm a number guy, so that's super exciting because people go, oh, I'm already too late, the ban list happened, oh, I just got home off work, nothing's gonna be listed. Look at this, late motivated seller, $370, he sees all of the starlights going and says, you know what, I could list at 400 and maybe sell, but I'm gonna do 370 and make a sale among all of the crazy buyouts happening. 400, 410. No, I'll just take 370 and go ahead and go there. Now the cheapest one is 430 currently, but keep an eye out for motivated sellers throughout the day. And I love the story that is actually told through us getting to see the price history. An actual sale on an Ultimate Kagari at $190. Kagari had a buyout not too long ago, so it's not like there's the most copies or listings on market for it to like take up all day. And you actually see somebody got one yesterday. Oh yeah, we were just thinking ahead of time. But when you see the actual market sales versus what's happening, that is a crazy story. Then Shizuku actually has a problem of not enough versions. I think only 3, one being the ultimate rare, and you can see here not too long ago around the 100 actual sales today at 145. Then Hayate is one that kind of gets slept on here and there, but eventually got bought out somewhat recently also. Well, we can see sales at up to $70, but a lot around 50 to 60, and then tons of them were around 47 to 45 throughout the month after that buyout that happened. But nobody cares about Kaina. Oh, poor Kaina, your actual win con that you probably want one of. You get 100 in time. Oh, what phase is it? Checks Graveyard, does this, I'm behind Mystic Mine, makes me sick. But seriously, Kaina kind of is an unfortunate win con for Sky Strikers. Now, what's going on with the rest of the strikers that you actually just want copies to play with? Almost every single version of Engage is getting bought out. Widow Anchors bought out to ridiculous proportions. Like I said, Shizuku's have a problem of even existing in terms of having enough. And we pointed and laughed. I think it was a ban list or 2 ago. Somebody went and bought out secret rare rays, the prismatic ones. There's also the Battles of Legends secret rare. And now I guess they're winning. They bought it around $1, $1.50 all the way up to $3. And now sales are happening at $4 or $5 and the lowest are around $4. Good for you for buying out Secret Ray not too long ago. We missed which ban list it would be on, I suppose. I'm not the biggest fan to bring bias in the market. Watch of Engage getting lifted off and the gameplay that's going to take place, but we do have a remote dual YCS coming up, so people are trying to buy things now, try to get it in time, so other things on the market besides just Sky Strikers will start moving, and we'll talk about that. Now, I unfortunately will be suggesting you buy Mystic Mine for this format, despite Harpy's Feather Duster, and now everybody has it thanks to the super rares in the Slifer and Obelisk decks, and then other people having Lightning Storms. Well, Mystic Mine is still unfortunately pretty darn good for slowing down the game, and certain decks are definitely going to sit behind it in this meta. The super rares are still worth about what the secret rares are. I would get the secret rares if you're in the market for this meta and going after that, but talking about options against it, Imperial Orders, we do see the Legendary Collection, Yugi's World stuff in general has been bought out crazy. This shouldn't be anything new, but we do see other versions of it are all almost expensive except for a couple of commons that are going off the market as well. So I might get your copies of Imperial Order sooner than later using that TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra to support the channel directly for the cards you'd already be buying. Also, Cosmic Cyclone Ultimate Rares were already up last night. We saw this on stream, and I was like, huh, that's weird. People brought up that it's pretty darn good against Eldritch, and that was actually Big Pimpin'. Big Pimpin', you get a shout out on Market Watch. But Cosmic Cyclone against Eldritch does seem to make a lot of sense, and we actually see sales above the lowest listed that is out here. It's kind of crazy how much people are willing to pay. Now, against Sky Striker, people immediately brought up DD Crow, and the DD Crow Starlight has been pretty much bought out to where there's very few listings, or people did pull theirs, but we can see the prices that they did sell, that they're not just pulled listings, actually going up and out throughout time. But Oh, the sales are today. So we do see it's actually pulled listings rather than people actually making the sale, seeing and waiting at what will happen unless the data is lagging there. But very few DD Crows on market. Salomon Greats, we see Balinks is almost out of copies completely. The Prismatic Secret Foxy is way up in price, so people are targeting some solid stuff. If I did have a suggestion for solid at all, it would be Signet Mining. I do see some of the secret rares already going and other copies going, and this is good and not just solid, but you also have Adagnister, Code Talkers, other decks that actually can take advantage of this that are doing decent in this current metagame. But Mirage Stalio coming off the list definitely has solids pretty darn hyped, and you can see there's very few Mirage Stalios actually on market left, although still a decent chunk for the price that it's at. If you're considering solids, I would think about getting the holo upgrades and that kind of stuff soon, because stuff like Rage would probably be going up and off the market, I imagine, and yeah, it goes up very quickly here versus what it is. Now, Dinosaurs, I'm surprised there weren't more panic sellers, but what's cool is we can see people did panic sell, and then they got snap called, and then other people went, okay, I'll still take the $50 ones. We see a huge drop-off on Animador Archosaur versus the other sales that were happening, but still, this is kind of a funny look. Panic, okay, met expectations and nobody else was running from this. I would still be selling this because you have the Megatins coming up and other things, but one Misc is still very, very playable. It does hurt to an extent, but it's still super playable if you're on Dinosaurs, and yeah, not a lot of people running away from this deck. Now, we've seen a ban list before really spike Dragoon. This isn't the biggest note, but he was selling for around 60 to 65 the last few weeks, and here we actually see a ton of sales specifically today. Dragoon's not hit, I'm back to Dragoon. Dragoon's not hit, I'm back to Dragoon. All the way to the bottom, these are all sales today, so people panicking and scrambling to go and get Dragoon again, and it's been consistently going up. It was 70, now it's towards 71, 72, and throughout the week it was 65 that you actually could have been buying these. So we do see an actual raise in market price, a bump up, and a lot of people paying attention to this package back into a new format. Abyss Dweller is actually a suggestion I would be making for this format. It's pretty good against Sky Striker, except for when it's getting Widow anchored, but in order to actually hit the links where they're not recurring, but also it seems pretty darn good against Drytron. It seems good against a lot of things this format. I would be thinking about Dweller if you have a deck that can rank 4, and the ultimate rare being the highest rarity does catch the eye, but there's not a ton of listings of the others that people would be leaning towards. Every single version of Dweller is hollow though, so no like, I'm playing a common kind of mentality with that. Kind of pick the version you want. I wish they would make a secret rare here in the TCG at some time. Amazing ticket time. The sneak peek promo has been listed, causing some confusion on Lightning Overdrive, as it does with every promo. So basically, these promos are giving it out in super limited quantities, and they're like, why is it worth more than the secret rare each and every time? Just be aware these are somewhat harder to get than the secret rares, and it's an engine that is super hyped. So yes, it is up there in price. People actually want this version to play with. People are attracted to these sneak peek promos in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Where they're much harder to get than ones of the past. So that is a thing, and that's why it's up there in price versus the secret rare. But also the listing was just made, so let's wait and see how many actually get listed as people become aware of this. Trap Hole of Spikes, an option for Trap Tricks players in the battle phase, is bought out to a kind of funny price, and very few left on market. That's kind of a haha. Now, King's Court is coming out before the remote dual YCS. We have the ban list shaking things up, and people think that's it, but King's Court, depending on what's in it, like maybe Utopic F-Zero Future Dragon, we all know I'm biased towards King's Court, but be aware that you have a single day scramble on mass launch date, and if you have access to OTSs, you have a couple more days in order to try to seek out singles or packs and really figure out what's in the set that could apply to the remote dual YCS, and people will have a true advantage in pay-to-win Yu-Gi-Oh! In terms of, okay, I got access to this where other people couldn't because I had the money and I had a place. So all these combining factors, it kind of reminds me of people scrambling for Necros and really bad Necros lists topping early. We'll see how this ends up impacting or underpacking or whatever you would call it with the upcoming YCS guess, like, will it just flop in terms of not enough people had time to get it, or will there be a huge card in it that people end up really able to get? And on the high end of stuff, Ultimate Rare Instant Fusion got bought out. Thank you, Philip Campa, for bringing this to my attention. Ridiculous sizing. It actually had some copies left the other day, and those seem to be pulled rather than sold, though. I saw a $165, $185 copy. Instead, it's just pulled instead of sales. I love this option and how we get to see that kind of stuff now. Isn't that great? And then Masked Hero Dark Law ridiculously bought out, and people actually spending $500. I don't know specifically when this buyout would happen, is what I would used to say, but now we can see that people either pulled or people are spending extravagant amounts of money to get this ultimate rare still. I thought it was back down towards 300, 350, but no, the lowest listed on market 750 before it's 1,000, and people are actually spending this ridiculous amount of money on him. So he's trying to make that run towards the biggest ultimate rare out of all of them, including Max C, and it's kind of fun to watch something that actually could be played as a legacy in the game doing that. So what do you guys think of modern OTS packs reaching these heights? What do you think of the ban list causing the shakeup on the market? So much happening today and crazy things all around the market. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed these conversations. And I'm back to running around the grocery shopping and all that stuff today.